Gotcha. Yeah, I hear people talking about, I see ads or I hear people talking about clear money blocks. We're gonna do this or that. Obviously people do that and maybe are still searching, or sometimes it works for people. So how is this different from like what most people think of as clearing money blocks?
Yeah. So most people, when they think of clearing money blocks, they think of like cutting cords, and they are dealing with the symptom of a money block instead of dealing with the root, the core programming. Because we're dealing with the subconscious, and the subconscious deals with our programs that have been there for a really long time. Really long time. Maybe we were one or two, and if I remember about a year ago in the summertime, I was outside with my neighbor. She has a young daughter, 6 or 7 years old, and the daughter was playing in the driveway, and there was gravel, and she found a dime. So she ran up to her mom and she said, "Look, I found money." And her mother knocked it out of her hand and said, "That's dirty." So immediately that's a program in that kid's head of money's dirty. I can't have this. I shouldn't have this. This is wrong. I'm wrong. No, there could be a dozen different programs just from that one instance. And, parents, don't freak out. You can, parent and teach, parent and teach your kids the way you can. We can just, then use muscle testing to tune in and go, okay, do we have some work to do with this program, or how many programs do I have with money? Like, muscle testing can be used for so many things, but those blocks are a symptom of that root program or trauma. And we can use muscle testing to tune into where that trauma is. And the cool thing about the whiteboard is it shows us. So if she was at 30%, and I said, bring that 30% up to 100, and you can do this with anything. How aligned are you with getting into a relationship? How aligned are you with that person? How aligned are you with that job? How aligned are you with money or the income that you want? And if your alignment is 30% and you're trying to bring it up, it will get stuck if there is a program or a block or resistance there. It won't actually go to 100. And this happens all the time. Again, I work with entrepreneurs who I have kind of a fledgling business with one newish client of mine, and she was wanting, $1,000 months so that she could quit her day job and she can do this business. And I said, okay, great. So we worked on that for a few weeks, and then she came to me in the last session and she said, I'm not gonna, never mind the 1,000. I want to go for 10K. Let's do
Yeah, yeah.
10,000
I was like,
a
a
month,
thousand a month.
right?
Where is she living?
Right. Well, she's in a relationship, and yeah,
Like when I
yeah.
moved to Vietnam and I only needed to earn 1,000 a month, and I got my cost of living down to 800 a month, and I was like, ooh, 20% profit. But
Yes.
I haven't experienced that
Yes.
in a long time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I lived in South Korea and I got, I think it was 1,000 a month, and I didn't have to pay for anything other than my food and my phone, and it was, sweet living. And that was quite a few years ago. But that was wishful thinking. She wasn't aligned with $10,000 months. And this is, that's kind of the magic number for new-ish entrepreneurs coming into this online space, is that those elusive 10K months, right? But sometimes it's wishful thinking. So this whiteboard and muscle testing can show us where we're wishful thinking or where we're actually aligned with creating that in our reality. But if you put it on the whiteboard and you're testing, okay, so how easy is me to get $20? And that may be 100%. Then you're tuning into how easy is it for me to create, generate, receive $10,000 a month through my business? And that could go right down to like 20%.
Mhm.
So if you grab that percentage and bring it up, it could get stuck along the way. Or there's this cool rubber band technique where you bring it up and then you let it go and it goes right back down 20. Your body will show you what is aligned, what is safe for us to create or not.
So what if someone's wants to be creating 10,000 months and it just keeps going right back to 20%? Then what do you do?
Well, we look at where it gets stuck because it's getting stuck in the body somewhere. And this is another component of, I created a healing system I call kinetic divination, kinetic from kinetic, kinesiology, applied kinesiology, and divination because divining with your body is you're looking for answers. So when we, if you're, whatever you want to create and you test it on this whiteboard and your percentage is 20, 30, 40%, you'll create from 80% up. So if it's below 80, then grab that percentage and bring it up to 100. If it gets stuck, then really kind of imagine that you're playing with it. You're bringing it up. You're trying to bring it up. Your body will tell you in the chakra system
Mm.
where it's getting stuck. So you
Oh,
may
cool.
feel like, yeah, it's really interesting. You may feel like you have resistance or you start clearing your throat. You may have some sort of trauma or story or program in your throat chakra that will trigger a wound in that chakra, which is usually fear of criticism. The fear of criticism will sit in the throat. And this happens, I tell you what, it happens every single time. Every single person. If I'm working with a student or client and we're in session and they're bringing something up on the whiteboard and I'll say, where is it in their body? And they'll say, oh, I feel something in my throat. I'll say, is that the fear of criticism? They'll say, yes, it is. Yes, it's 100%. I've never ever had a person who says, no, that's not right.
Mm. Wow, yeah. It reminds me of this work that I do. Previous guest of mine, Marin Azoff, she has the system, vocal transformation system, and it's using chanting and different vibrational tones to work with each chakra in turn. And I keep coming back to the throat chakra because it's like it feels really good to try to keep that open and flowing. And so it's like you do 40 days of chanting on each one. So it's 280 days to go through the full system once. And yeah, the throat chakra, I was like, give me extra days there because
Yeah,
it can use it. Yeah.
yeah. So are you open to sharing a little bit if there is a history of or fear of criticism?
Well, I've always been so excited about what I'm learning, like even as a kid. And I was catching up with some of my elementary teachers, and they say you would rush in the class and just like share everything you learned from when you
Mm,
left school to afterwards. And I think when you're so excited about stuff that
yeah.
when people shut you down, they're like, I don't have time to hear about all this stuff, which I do as a parent because my kid is the same way, but he's this incessant, right? I'm like trying to go to sleep and he's like, more, 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 right? So I totally get it, but I feel like that's probably where it came from, was just like being shut down. Like, I don't want to hear it right now.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm sure that chanting and working that throat chakra moves that energy and allows for what it's interesting too when we have these wounds to really look at that and go, okay, so I know that this is from my past. If it's recurring for anybody, to see that recurrence, to see that program or that lesson and flip it so that you're focusing on seeing evidence of the opposite. So see evidence of how easy it is for people to hear me and support my vision and support my creativity and really listen to what interests me and have that support. system.
I like that. Yeah. Um, one of the things that I do sometimes assign to clients is like uh come up with 100 true reasons that support whatever it is you're trying to achieve. So it's like, okay, maybe we want to make 6 figures this year. Like, it's true that I have a lot of drive. It's true that I have a great network. It's true that I'm a good salesperson. It's true that I'm creative. Like all these things are in support of this, which are irrefutable. And then it kind of seems to convince the subconscious in a way like, okay, you're right. It is that you're perfectly set up to do that, objective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they can, incorporate muscle testing with that as well to see if that each one of those affirmations or mantras is actually resonating at the highest vibration that it can, so that it can
Mm.
create